everybody. Welcome back to our podcast. I am Althea Rain,
Mahalo Smythe.
And Yuri Inoku.
and we are your hosts for Tre Geek. So, we're going to start this podcast with the recent deaths of celebrities Nikki Acox and Jason David Frank. They were prominent figures and part of our childhood for at least one of them. So, let's start with Nikki Acox. The article is from The Focus. What happened to Nikki Acox? Death of Supernatural star confirmed at 47. Now, we are recording this on November 20th, 2022. So by the time that this gets released to you, it's going to probably be a couple weeks old. But we wanted to get this at least recorded as soon as possible. Nikki Acox, best known as the original Meg Masters in Supernatural, has passed away after a battle with cancer. Acox debuted the character of Meg, the human host, in the first season of Supernatural. Meg would go on to feature prominently through the dark fantasy drama, although her human form, portrayed by Acox, would only be seen in seasons 1 and 4. Nikki Acox has been publicly battling cancer over several years. Now her sister-in-law has relayed the family's tragic news that Acox has passed away. That's really sad. She's only 47 and she's had cancer. It goes on to say, Nikki Acox had been fighting leukemia, a cancer of the blood cells, for over a year prior to her death. In March 2021, the Supernatural star announced that she had started chemotherapy. She had been diagnosed with leukemia earlier that year after having become seriously ill in January and February. Acox wrote, in March 2021, I became very ill thinking I had COVID in January and February. Well, things came to a head. I ended up in a hospital diagnosed with leukemia. It says that on Thursday, November 17th, so she actually died on November 16th that we just didn't know about. My beautiful, smart, fierce, incredibly talented, and loving sister-in-law, Nikki Acox Rabb, passed away yesterday with my brother, Matt Rabb, by her side. The statement reads, Nikki and Matt had a wonderful life together in California. She was definitely a fighter, and everyone who knew her loved her. Nikki Acox, born May 26, 1975, originally hailed from Hennessy, Oklahoma. The former actress was based in California in the later years of her life. That is just really tragic.
How many people this is going to happen to? I actually know some people in my personal life this happened to, where they didn't go get treatment for issues they had, and it turned out they had cancer, and it was very advanced because they weren't going to doctors or hospitals unnecessarily. And so they ended up not finding out they had cancer until the cancer was very advanced, because they waited like a year or two to go get treatment. I wonder if that's what happened there.
I don't know, but she did start chemo shortly after it and just lost her fight this year. You know, she acted in a lot of other things as well. She was in one of my favorite shows, Cold Case. She played the sister of the main character, Lily, and that character was a hot mess throughout the entire series. But in the last season, she came back for a very serious story arc, and I thought it was a really nice wrap up to that show. She was a great actress. She made you believe that Meg was real. And that wasn't the only role that she played, somebody who was a complete and utter asshole. In the show Criminal Minds, there was an episode early on in the show's running where you met her character and you legitimately thought she was a victim of the unsub as an abused wife. Well, come to find out with the twist, she was the unsub. She was actually the one who was murdering people in that episode of the show. And I bought it hook, line, and sinker for the entire episode. I didn't think anything of it until the twist, and then I'm like, holy shit. So she was a good actress. Here's the thing. She got sick in 2021, And it's been a year and 8 months since then, and she was taking chemo all that time, and it was just way too far gone.
Yes. And being for the cancer of the blood, that's just it's one of the hardest ones, I think, as well, like um to treat. So it sucks
Yeah.
that it just sucks. She was so young.
Yeah, I mean, only 47.
Mhm.
My
It
husband will be
happens.
47 this next year.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. I mean, kids get leukemia, so you're not immune to
Yeah.
getting cancer just because you're
Mhm.
No.
young.
Anyway, that leads us into the next celebrity death as of recent days. Uh, J- Jason David Frank. He was known as playing the Green Power Ranger.
The original Green Power Ranger, Tommy
Original green,
Oliver.
the
So it's
original. Oh,
what?
we both said the same thing. We are just saying like the original Green Power Rangers. So
Heck yes, he's like the I guess he was like the my one of my first crush aside from um Austin St. John, who was Jason the original Red Ranger. But Jason David Frank it was confirmed today that he passed today the 20th. This was um that he passed by suicide.
Self unaliving.
mm, Unalived. Um, so it was according to the TMZ News and his representative. He was found last night. He's best known as Tommy Oliver, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers franchise, which debuted in 1993, and then he started going into the Wild Force, Turbo, Zeo, Dino Thunder, Mega Force, Ninja Steel, Hyper Force. So it's like a bunch of Power Rangers in the course of all these years that Power Rangers have evolved. So he is the one that was like the most active. On TMC says on his on-screen fighting abilities translated into the real world, Frank was professionally trained MMA brawler who was well versed in the everything from Taekwondo, Muay Thai, Judo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and others. So I remember when he went into the MMA, it was crazy because I was like, nobody's gonna fight a Power Ranger, and he proved them wrong. Um, so he was 49, and the representative also posted, please respect the privacy of his family and friends during this horrible time as we come in terms with the loss of such a wonderful human being. Walter Jones, the original Black Ranger, also posted that he was an inspiration to so many people, um, and that his presence will be missed. Um, but I remember actually saw him in one of the Comic Cons, and I couldn't go to him because low income at the time. But I could see him from afar and him taking his sweet time with every fans. I have several friends of mine who took pictures with him, and we all felt it this morning. So like most of my friends will agree, like, hey, rest in power, because that's how they would say to all those in Power Rangers that passed away. So he'll be missed. He was part of my childhood growing up.
I remember I used to watch the Power Rangers up until the point of the Ooze movie. And then
Hmm.
I really hated the Power Rangers after that movie because they changed the origin story of how they got their new powers. Instead of going to that planet, they changed how they switched over from the old dinosaurs to like the bears and the animals,
Yeah.
mammals. And I didn't like how they changed that story. So I stopped watching Power Rangers after that. It was a retcon before the term
Hmm.
retcon even became a thing, and I just stopped watching it because I just didn't like that. I was detail oriented even as a child. So
Yeah, you are. But the thing is, Saban only had Super Sentai in Japan to work with, so they stopped doing the the team that was consisted in the Power Rangers, they were done with it. So they ended up doing something else. That's why if you notice the difference in the suits for the Power Rangers movie, um for the Ooze movie, they were all so different, and it was because it was just done for that specific reason. And we can talk about, the difference in another segment, because it is big. Like in Japan already has like 50 years worth of Super Sentai, who the US just have 35. So that's one of the reasons why it changed so much.
Yeah. I I think it's sad that he unalived himself. I cannot get inside these people's head because, I couldn't possibly understand what they're going through.
He had some, like, something must have been going on. I know for a fact that a friend of his tweeted. I don't know I didn't read the name, but I read the post, and it was kind of sad because he said that he saw the missed call last night, and him hearing that, it was like a shock to him. So I guess it was just he had a dark moment, like a dark
Oh
Wow.
cloud on
man.
it. So
Can
it
you
sucks.
imagine? That'd be terrible to like wake up and see a missed call from someone who killed themselves the night they called you. I can't imagine.
No,
It'd be
I
terrible.
can't either. That just sounds abhorrent. So,
And
to give them a
I
good
just
send off,
mhm.
you know, rest in peace, Nikki Acox and Jason David Frank. You guys will
And
be
two.
missed within our communities, within our movies and media. Um, Godspeed, guys.
Yeah, and if you're someone you know is thinking of suicide, please call the National Suicide Prevention Line at 988. So that's a good thing to add to on it.
Yeah, mental health is just as important as physical health. So, you know, do what you got to do and help your friends.